8:30.
Time now for a check on all the latest business news, and Aaron joins us with a look at government proposals which could affect landlords and students. Aaron,
yeah, no, absolutely. Let's talk about sharing, shall we? Because 6, 7, 8, 9 or sometimes even more to just one house is a way, of course, of securing cheap rent. But a spare bed in that kind of house share might be harder to find. The government now plans to allow local authorities to limit the number of properties housing 6 or more unrelated people. The proposals are designed to combat problems with antisocial behaviour that have arisen. Complaints from locals have included litter, noise and towns becoming empty during holidays. The move by ministers has sparked anger from landlords and, of course, student groups. Let's get more on this because Andrew Teacher is from the British Property Federation and joins us. Andrew, good to see you. Well, Andrew, I can hear many people out there going, well, no, this is a good thing. This will improve rental conditions, rental properties, and it's certainly been a drive by the government of late as well.
Well, what it is a NIMBYs charter, basically. I mean, we've got a government that's pushed to get more people into education. We've got a government that goes on about social integration, but yet we've got plans that could see landlords effectively restricted on whether they rent properties to more than 3 people or not. And the simple fact is that young people, immigrants, students, young professionals, they can't afford to buy houses. They don't necessarily want to live in single-bedroom flats on the edge of town. They like living in the communities. And the bottom line is you can't really use the planning system for social engineering.
Does this, I guess people are calling it studentification, aren't they? I mean, have an impact? Does it have an impact on property prices?
Well, there will be areas in the country, nevertheless, in Leeds, Manchester, where you do have high concentrations of students. And, you know, you are going to get parties, you are going to get litter, but you're going to get that anyway. You're going to get it all over the country. You can't simply say, oh, OK, well, we can't be bothered to deal with these problems, so we'll just make the people live somewhere else. That's not how you deal with problems in society.
If, I guess, restrictions are brought in, what impact would that have, do you think, on the property market?
Well, what it would mean would be that councils would have the ability to say, no, we don't want you to be able to rent out your property to more than 3 people. You'd have to essentially get planning permission to do that, and that would basically push up rents. It would make existing properties that are affordable to people become unaffordable, and at a time where we're not seeing many houses built, at a time where housing is massively unaffordable still for people, that's obviously going to be a really bad thing.
Well, what about landlords? Obviously, you know, part of your association represents landlords. I mean, they're up in arms, but they're up in arms because they simply think, we just want to fill these houses and make money.
Well, it's not simply about the landlords. What you've got to remember is that students obviously bring a lot of business into communities. You know, you think of places like Exeter, Manchester, Leeds, Nottingham, all around the country where there are lots of students and lots of young people. That has a massive impact on the businesses. If you take those out, think of small retailers, cafes, pubs, kebab shops, whatever you're talking about. Without students living there, a lot of these businesses would go under. And there is a lot more to think about than simply placating those people, the NIMBYs in society that don't like students living nearby.
Andrew Teacher from the British Property Federation. We'll leave it there. Thanks very much for joining us, of course. And just a quick flash of the FTSE continues hovering down around 0.5%, pretty much as expected, really just taking a breather after the, well, rather solid performance we saw on Friday, closing for the very first time above 4,700, first time since October, I should say, and that's off the back of those much better than expected US jobs numbers that we also had out Friday. So that's it with the business. Plenty more later on.
Aaron, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Just to keep you updated with events, Hazel